Okay. We are at the back. Okay. Continue. Extractor. Mother of a bitch. Sleeper? Rico's voice comes in wavering through the dark. Are you still with me? You sit up. The lab. A bright green glare that fades as you gather yourself. What I just gave up. Sleeper, she squeezes your hand. What? She pauses. Who? She smiles. Tell me about it. Tell me everything. I won't tell her everything. I owe her some. You tell Rico everything. You tell her about the gardener, the strange farm administrator AI that has grown to be so much more, about the chorus, that impossible configuration of network plants, and finally about the choice the gardener offered you. She listens attentively, but her responses are hard to read, and you wonder if she might have placed a different decision. Might have made a different decision had she been in your place. Thank you, Sleeper, for telling me. I know, it isn't easy to say such things. People so often do not wish to hear strange truths. She looks away. And thank you for returning to me. Though I know you had your own reasons. Reassuringly. Something passes between you, Dan. A kind of shared sadness for the impossible choice. The choice to escape your body. Or to stay and suffer it. Her smile is warm and generous. And whatever wisdom of your choice, the wisdom of your choice, you are glad you feel welcome in this moment, in this place. Then suddenly she stands and walks a little away, as if trying to escape an unpleasant thought. You worry that she knows all too well what it takes to make a choice like you did. He goes ahead. So, Sleeper, do you plan to stay in the commune with us? I plan to. I'm glad to hear it. Rico crosses back over to you and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Haifa needs new blood if it wants to survive, and she squeezes. You are a good friend. Well, don't let me keep you. Rico waves you away and limps back to her terminal. As she does, you notice the crown in her hand, and she places it on the bench with great care. You can't help but feel a little curious about what she intends to do with it. Then you are out, breathing the air of the Greenway, fresh as a spring morning. The dappled light makes patchwork of the greening landscape, and you walk into it, sensing the movement of the gardener's chorus all around. And you are glad to be here in this strange and beautiful place a little longer. Okay. Got it! You are leaning against the metal crates you just loaded up with algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. Each hops on to one beside you, flexing her aching back. I hope the refugees like algae. He squints at you, as if you just interrupted her train of thought. It's a look you've become familiar with. It doesn't matter either way. This is what we got, she sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. In these past cycles, working the algae stack with Ish, you've had little insight into her mind. She rarely seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel like something has grown between you. Something like silent trust. The kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile hot soil of hard but necessary work. There's something I've been meaning to ask. Ish raises her head cautiously, going, "Why escape XPR?" Ish pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you built. You can see her begin to shrug the question off. Then she stops, rethinks, sighs. Well, you need to understand, sleepers, that Erlin's Eye wasn't the only place where the solemn collapse happened. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from Solheim going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever here. She pauses, hesitant to get into the whole story, but wanting to offer something. Wait, she flinches. Frog bitch. Correcting herself. They are a service corps. You understand? They set up posts and surrogate systems like this for refueling, logistics, maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts. She gestures to the eye around her. Like Solheim! When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client in Hawthorne. Well, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outpost stable. Hold on to our claim, she rubs at her head. As if recalling all this was somehow physically painful. Do you know what it's like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that only exists to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory? To shore up breach of contract? Negotiations? Between two corporations? It's like living she searches for the word, her eyes jumping back and forth. In a grave, she clenches her hands. So if you're looking for the answer to why questions, that's your answer. We're peeking, I know what it's like to be forgotten, alright? To be locked up. She stares hard at the side of the stack, the algae warning against the glassed birds of Panthers. And she doesn't look away, motherfucker. The silence extends, and you realize the conversation is over. He seems angry not at you, but with herself for even voicing such ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the credits into the barrel, but eventually run back into the wire. As you do, you start to catch her eye. You try to catch her eye, but she avoids it, soothing herself instead with the comforting simplicity of physical work. Go, if I sit a little closer, I can lean back like this and be a little closer. I'm a genius. The Bantayan. Oh, yes and good. Bye. Damn, not bad rolls. Tucked into a service corridor deep below the reservoir, Ish is double-checking the seals on the water tanks loaded onto the motorized trolley. Though you are far away from any thoroughfares, not to worry about being overheard. You both still speak in hushed tones. All good? Ish nods silently and hits the ignition on the trolley to start it moving. You take the other side of the trolley and walk it up the wide service corridor. With its flickering lights and swarmed detritus, you doubt it gets used by Avanage. At least that's the hope. You glance across at Ish, her face a mask of determination as she guides the trolley along. Maybe some conversation will make this journey go a little easier. How'd you meet Peak? Ish pauses. A little surprised by your question, she glances back down to the tunnel. But in this deserted passage, she can hardly keep up the pretense of silence. We grew up together. She answers quickly and turns back to the trolley, but she can tell you are expecting her to add more. She seems to gather herself for an answer, not wanting to ignore you, but trying instead to get her answer straight to her head. Straight in her head. Our outpost, Hawthorne, is not an easy place to grow up. The administration keep a tight hold of everything. She rolls her eyes. Even though they are trapped in the same decaying installation as everyone else. Peak! She pauses. Peak find it harder than most. She pauses again, judging her words. I stepped in to help them out. Motherfucker. Silence descends again, but you can feel the wheels turning in Isha's mind as the creaking wheels of the trolley take you along the corridor. Peak isn't the most practical of people. They used to be, well, they needed someone to teach them to look after them. Stand up for themselves. That was me, she smiles. After that, I couldn't get rid of them. He stops talking, but you see her eyes have lit up, and you imagine she is recalling some moment or other from her and Peak's past. You both reach a wide bulkhead of doorway and have to stop to shimmy the trolley over the edge. When you are done, he turns to you. I'm good from here, head back. And with that, she done. Moving off the dark tunnel ahead. You watch it go, but then turn around and walk the distance back to the staircase you entered from. The tunnel humming around you as you do. As you try to piece together Isha's past. As you try to piece together Isha's past. As you walk, you try to piece together Isha's past. Okay, I'm missing words. But all you have are glimpses of a person that she once was. She seems to prefer it that way. Oh, now I can upgrade those? I don't know. I'm just gonna upgrade the hard to kill. Although, I don't really get it, because, like, I don't need that. There's gotta be something more useful I can get. If I could re-roll twice. That'd be lit. Yum. I'm flickering, I'm flickering, I'm a flickering. I'm flickering. No. 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 I don't know. Just look good. Get the right angle. Get the right angle. Perfect. Or calling that the right angle, because what the fuck happened? There we go. Is that any good? Okay, there we go. This will have to work. Yay. A rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone, its fins adjusting as it hovers in place, floats in the corridor. Hello? The drone shifts a little but does not respond. The drone buzzes closer and a voice gurgles out of its speaker. Distorted and strange. Sleeper, come to the corridor. We need to talk. The drone clicks and whirs and the recording starts playing again. Sleeper, come to the cordon. I need to speak. You move closer, but the drone bobs away to a safe distance. But as it does, you see the Ha of Havanage emblazoned on its side. Could this be Fang's drone? Satisfied it has delivered its message, the drone rotates and accelerates away as rapidly as it arrives. You stare as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insight that escapes you. To Cordon, then. As you enter the passage that leads through the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye. The drone! It stops to make sure you've seen it, and then it flits into a side passage leading to a set of narrow stairs. You climb up through a dark shaft, the drone stopping at each landing to check you are following. Despite its lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence. After a long climb, you come out onto an observation platform. The cordon and the vast ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. The scale seems impossible, and immediately you feel small and naive for even thinking you could affect this situation. Something shifts nearby. The drone again? A woman is standing at the window, at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice her. She too seems impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder and she turns. Helene! It's Helene! Sleeper, sorry for the crook drone and dagger nonsense. She nods at the drone. But I had never regretted being cautious. She smiles a tight smile and holds a hand. I'm Helene. I'm gonna do nothing. She draws the hand back in, unfazed, clutching the large slate she carries at her chest. Look! She glances around the observation deck. Empty observation deck, as if checking for potential eavesdroppers. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans. She got sent before you can respond. I understand your motives. You look at her in her overalls. The yellow markers, the hostage. You've been on the island long enough to recognize a Havanage member when you see them. You are Havanage. Yes, I expect that is obvious. I expect that is the obvious. The tight smile again. I hope you won't hold that against me. She glances around nervously again and moves a little closer. This entire situation, I'm not here to defend it. I'm not here to defend it. She glances back at the flotilla. No one is happy about this. Especially not the refugees, she says. I'm not your enemy here, no matter what you think. She pauses. Slipper, tell me something. What does the Havanage mean to you? Hardenhurst. How do you know Harden? She squints at you. You're an interesting one, Sleeper, though you should know Harden is the worst of us. Havanage is used to being criticized. In some ways we invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meeting, to propose new structures and approaches. She shifts her weight impatiently. As a counselor, it is my duty to listen to them. That is why I was elected by the members. We are an imperfect system, yes, and each counselor, each member, each representative can be flawed. And worse, she looks down. But we do keep this place running. That is what we do. In the flotilla? She turns and looks out at a clump of fractured ship. The flotilla is a problem. Can the Eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is a ruin, Sleeper. What do you think the council discusses? The price of Giore. We make sure the planes keep working, this place spinning. To keep life support working to ensure. Helena slightly chirps, and a grim blip passes across her face as she sees the notification. She looks tired. The screen light casting a rigid expression in a pale glow. Sleeper, I didn't bring you here to explain how Havanaz works. I came to talk about your plan to cross Coron, breach the quarantine, and supply the Fatela. She looks directly at you. Time to play dumb. I don't know anything about the Flotilla. Please, I don't have time for games. I know you think you're helping the Flotilla, but you cannot do this right now halfway along the ring. On the countless series of debates are being held. The debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees of the Flotilla left the station. These debates are at a standstill. The leader walked to the window. Too many in the Heritage Council can think of the Flotilla as a threat. After recent events, a hotline group has emerged. Protective service they think only to remove anyone. In their mind, the Flotilla is a danger to life on the eye. If you're caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline counselor's case. Criminals who stole a ship from the XPR, undermining the security of the station. Undermining the security of the station, she shakes her head. It's exactly what they want. The refugees need supplies. They do, and that's exactly what I want to give them. But unless the quarantine is lifted and through a fair process, they will never get to them. She says, and those XXPR spacers you are running with, Sleeper, do you know anything about them? More than I know about you. She looks at you pleadingly. Let's change that, Sleeper. Why do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of the colonies and outposts that have survived this solemn collapse. We need to be ready for whatever's coming. Ready to protect the eye. I know the eye means something to you. I know there's a reason you are still here. Help me protect it. Helena fixes you with a strong look. Persuade those spacers that this is the wrong move, and they will get caught and the flotilla will be locked down. And Havanage will be delivered into those with the worst instincts. Forget the suicidal supply run with the eye. With the people you barely know. Help me fight for the eye. Why don't you stop them? If I expose the plan, it's the same as if it goes ahead, and they are caught. Every way I look at it, the eye looks compromised. The quarantine justified. The hardliners get their scapegoat. Don't offer up the excuse the hardliners need to lock the flotilla out together to persuade the members they are of the safest pair of hands. They look at you imploringly. Please. You look back at her and the flotilla behind and sense there's desperation in her plea. A notification breaks the silence. Shit. She rapidly scrolls through pages of Data Sleeper. I need to go. She looks torn. Think about this, please. Talk to the spacers. Help them see reason. And she quickly leaves the observation deck before you have time to respond. You stay for a moment, watching the lights of the tugs and the flotilla, wondering what it feels like to be on one of those ships, so close to your destination and yet so far from it. Then you think of the Havanage Council chamber across the eye, where the right of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver, and then you are gone, back into the stairwell in the corridor below. I totally forgot it needs 3. Oh, it's +2 now. I see how that works. It was a little off. Sleeper Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different, pale, drawn out. You to come up to the briar now. They don't meet your eye. We'll be waiting. Peak walks away, don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. As you walk into the Climbing Briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, he's just waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open with its insides scouted across the top of a heavy-duty crate. It is an object you recognize, Alina's drone. You freeze. Coming quick, Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces. Some part of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Ish looks up from the dissection. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA sigil on one of the removed pieces of plating. It's a Havanel spy. We think we got it before it sent the beta back, but we can't be sure. Peak looks at you nervously. She cuts it. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the briar? I've seen this drone. Each one's following you? I met its owner. Each pauses for a while, Peak looking between the two of you. Explains Sleeper, he says quietly. You explain that you met with Alina at the Cordon, and you tell Ish and Peak about what she told you. That the Havanel Council are debating lifting the quarantine. But they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Ish walks away in anger, and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we told you? She paces in front of you. Havanel are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. For the greater good of their work demands it. The wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. She wants to help. Ish laughs. Help what, Sleeper? Undo the mess of her own creation? She only wishes to placate you, so you'll compromise. So you'll do what is acceptable, not what is right. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, he says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they gave up something. Some part of being human, being an equal among others, goes away. They start talking about the greater good. The systems, the ways in which their hands are tied, their process is compromised. My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it is toxic. People should never have seen a chance to decide the fate of others. And those that do so at the cost of their humanity. Peak tries to cut in, but he's holding my hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. I mean, you're right. Ish doesn't move for a moment. Then she lifts a hand to rub her temples. She goes to say something, then stops. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I will make the run, she yanks on the strap. No more distractions. Sleeper, Peak turns torn. You have to understand this is personal for Ish. Helena warned me. Warned you on what to do what, Sleeper? We shouldn't do the run. What do you expect? Peak looks tired. You glance around the Bay of Briar, the walls seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peak. What do you think, Sleeper? Peak rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? I don't know. Peak nods. Me neither. They look at Ish, but you see her. She knows, and she saved my life, so I'm gonna say we do it. They squeeze your shoulder onward. They slip away to help Ish, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Well, damn it, I should have done that one. Whatever. I want all my dice. He grins as you pile the ion thruster sets onto the motorized trolley in a derelict loading bay. I borrowed this from Mish. I barely know how it works. They seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship parts from Havanage. Isn't it just a trolley? Big laughs. I guess so. I just find physical technology a bit intimidating. They help you heave the thruster into position. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran refueling platforms from totally decaying due to lack of use. There's a load of platforms in orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on, and Cinder itself. Ish and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds technical. Big smiles. That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. So much better than outpost maintenance or canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Isha's mother is the administrator of Hawthorne, and Ish managed to get my name on that list too. Peak looks for the trolley's ignition. Ish is always saving me. They found the switch and hit it! And the trolley starts whining. Peak looks at the thrusters. Ish will install these, and Briar is her baby, really. Peak looks towards the bay exit. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to take it from her mother, losing a ship that has to have hurt the colony. How many ships does Hawthorne have? 4, well 3. Nah, the Cloudy Briar is gone. Peak tucks her head behind the deer. One belly rods. I imagine they'll have to reduce the number of fuel platforms they can actively maintain. Peak frowns for a second, then shakes their head. Anyway, screw 'em. Peak shuffles the trolley out of the bay into the corridor. They'll manage without the Briar, no choice. Peak smiles, and I have to admit I'd love to have seen her face when she saw we had gone. Don't tell Ish that. I walk on quietly, lost in my memories of Hawthorne! Okay, I think I can manage the rest. Peak brushes their hair out of their face. You've done more than enough this cycle. Peak looks over the thrusters. We only have one more cycle. The fuck you talk about? Once these are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Ish, Peak laughs. They head off into the corridor. The trolley whining its high-pitched whine. See you soon. I need 6. Okay, I can do this if all of my fucking things work tomorrow. I think. There's only one way to know. Come on, don't fuck me up! Don't fuck me up! She's gone, Sleeper. Peak is breathless. She said, shaking. She started the run without us. Shit! Let's go. If we head to the cordon now, Peak starts back up the corridor. They turn back. She has to make a Sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Ish, I hope you know what you're doing. This doesn't look good. Alright, this just doesn't look good. Okay. Shit. You're right, frantic and anxious. The Cordon Peak is nowhere to be seen. And you hear footsteps hammering on metal stairway. On the metal stairway Helinda's drone led you through before. The one that leads up to the observation deck. Then you hear medic footsteps hammering on the metal stairway. Helena's drone led you through before the observation deck. You leap up the stairs two at a time and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Sleeper Peak emerges from the light. I know she's trying to protect me, but... What is she thinking? She was always planning this, I know it. They turn away. How could I have not seen it coming? There she is. Peak rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the climbing Briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. You spot the climbing Briar, a glare to blue and white. Mazzuli Blanco. What tiny inch alone. Arcing down the stair, darking down towards the red rojo lights of the cordon. She's exposed, Peak says nervously. They will see her coming if they look. You watch the cordon and the buzzing tugs for any signs of movement, any response. The Briar crawls silently across your view. Come on, each Peak hisses. Then you see it, a sudden flicker of yellow. Peak sees it too. Those two tugs are heading to cut her off. They grip the rail. Go, Ish! As if responding to Peak's urging, the Briar speeds up, diving for the cordon edge now. Like a hawk descending, you tense up. Peak grips the rail as the Briar races towards the edge of the cordon. That invisible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Can she pass through? The response is immediate. The moment the Briar hits the net of sensors, the entire cordon reacts. Sequences of blinking lights cascade out from the ship's position. The angry red of the cordon multiplied many times over. Shit! Peak presses a hand against the window. As they do, the Briar accelerates, weaving dangerously through the flotilla. You move closer to the window without thinking, unable to take your eyes off the rapidly descending ship, spinning between the hulls of the flotilla. A group of thugs now tracing its path in pursuit. The Briar drifts to the flotilla, but it is agonizingly slow. Come on, Ish! Peak shouts in desperation, pressing a palm against the glass. You squint at the gathering yellow glints of the tugs. They are too fast. You both watch in dismay as the tugs swarm the Briar, their shunts locking into the hull of the ship and holding it in place. The Briar is stuck, its drives unable to escape the tug's grip, especially in the close quarters of the flotilla. Peak is silent as you watch the Briar is dragged away towards the facility at the edge of the rim. A hole opening in the pit, opening up in the pit of your stomach. You look at Peak, but they don't respond. They don't take their eyes off the briar. Even after it disappears, they stand there at the glass, their eyes fixed on the flotilla. She didn't even get the supplies through. Peak doesn't look at you. This was all for nothing. We can get her back. This was stupid, Sleeper. Peak looks back at you with their eyes wet. A stupid plan. We had a ship in our freedom. Now what do we have? Peak slams a hand on the glass in frustration, making a jump. I won't be trapped again. I won't. They turn and rush out of the observation deck before you can say anything, leaving you alone with the cold and the light. I fucked that up. Ah! Castor. Quite the achievement, isn't she, Sentry? Sealess must be proud. You turn quickly to see a figure hooded and tucked into the shadows nearing the viewing platform. Do I know you? Sadly, no, but I know you, or at least I have seen you passing through the low end. You shouldn't rush through so much. The low end's pleasures tend to reward the wanderer. He looks around, but the platform is clear. We should be quick in our conversation. But I don't wish to unsettle you. I deal in data and I believe you might have need of some. Castor walks out to stand beside you on the platform. The telltale clunk of magnetic boots accompanies his slow crossing. He notices you looking at them. I don't like it much up here. I hear there was some trouble at the Havenard shipyard when they announced the results of the crew lottery. They screwed us. I know, he sighs, meeting your eye. An ugly business. Sealers are too used to the way things work in the Corps. Exploitation is the only logic they know. Whoa. He gestures out at the side reel. You know why they built this monstrosity in the eye? Money. That was a part, perhaps, but there are cheaper shipyards. He stares at the pristine yellow hull. Sealers built it here, says Castor gravely. But they didn't want anyone to know it exists. He was beforehand. Dinero, 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 money, dinero. And secrecy is something I cannot abide. He turns to face you. There are people being loaded onto that ship. I speak. Sleeping people locked in cryo sleep. Like the that's where you were regulated from. There were hundreds of them, and see that's what sent them out to a planet at the edge of the settled systems without anyone knowing where it is. But you sleeper can do something about that. You are like me, you deal with data. You can read it right out of the air. With someone like you on the ship, secrecy isn't a problem. You can ping back wherever I need, as long as you are on board. With you on the side reel and with some minor modifications, you could be my eyes and ears. I will keep track of Seedless's grand project through you. And sure, says Castor, stretching. I can get you aboard, Sleeper, but I'm gonna need you to help me. Who are you? I'm a concerned party. What the fuck? So you can get me onto that ship? But you're not who I want to get on that ship. I don't care about getting on that ship. I much more care about Mila on that ship, okay? And the T dude, the guys whose names start with T. I am a concerned party, someone who likes to know what is happening when it is happening, not afterwards. It's not just me. I'm not going. I really want to help them get on there. I need at your friend's unit so we can give him the good news. He smiles. I know this is important to you and the little one's so cute. You don't extract the data before the Sidereal Horizon leaves the hub, then I will get the message. We have other options, but you are certainly my preferred one. But be sure when you act Sleeper. Once you take the data from Celis, you'll set off a series of events that will likely be hard for you to untangle yourself from. Either way, I recommend you stop asking around up here. You're bringing a lot of attention to yourself. Caster glances around, as if to emphasize his point. There are only a handful of cycles until departure. Sleeper, make your decision. Even better? I get to live on a planet? With the Mila? Well, that was bullshit. I need to get them out of here. Maybe myself too, I don't know. I want to have this ending. Now that I know it's an option. Ugh. When you arrive at Lemon Mina's unit, Castor is already waiting outside, leaning beside the door. Forgive me, Sleeper, but Seedless is already buzzing with news of the breach. I was expecting you. I don't like you tracking me. That is unfortunate, Sleeper, because that is what I will be exactly what I will be doing for the foreseeable future. Castor reaches into a pocket, produces a sleek green and white hand terminal. The data, please. What is that? Something I acquired from Seedless while you were busy on that ship. Castor pushes up his glasses. I haven't been waiting for you the whole entire time. You hand over a drive with the data, and Castor finishes around for a converter cable to hook it up. He slots it into the terminal, and after some whirring, a set of two transparent films marked with numeric sequences are produced. Two tickets to an uncertain future. Castor smiles to himself. The child will go with Lem, of course. He focus them. But first, he holds out a white cube. Your side of the deal. What is it? Something to help us make use of you. He passed you a square, and you rested in your palm a small white perfect cube. Suddenly you feel a sharp pain and flinch. The cube jumps up from your hand and rattles along the walkway. You look at Castor apologetically. Castor smiles. Not to worry. It's done its job. Now it is for you to do yours. Tidy pinprick in the center of your palm. Nothing sinister, Castor, for the terminal way. This way we can keep track of you and the sidereal horizon. I didn't agree to this. You did, Sleeper. Castor just glasses. You have to understand that I could have done this without you knowing. This way everything is on the table, so to speak. Castor hands you the transparent films. And you see shimmering portraits of you and Lem flickering beneath the surface. Go give them the good news. And he reaches. Give them the good news. And he reaches across and buzzes the unit. Lem slides open the door, half dressed in his gear. Sleeper, what brings you up here? Come in, he beckons you inside. You look to the side, expecting to see Castor, but the wall is empty. The unit is cleaner, better organized than last time. Lem sits at the thin bar and gestures for you to sit. Mina's with some of the local kids. Someone... Oh, she seems to like it. Play for time. You look around the unit, you look at Lem. He looks better, softer, more full of life. It's as if a weight has been lifted from his shoulders. You think of Mina a few units down, learning with other children, you falter. Is the sidereal horizon better than this? Lem starts to look a little nervous. You in trouble, Det? I have seedless ideas for us. You have? Lem freezes. How? He blinks rapidly as if to wipe you from his vision. Does that mean we are leaving? Lem stands up and paces around the unit. We have to pack. He starts laughing. Holy shit, we have to pack. He turns back to you, smiling. How the hell did you swing this sleeper? I made a deal. What a deal. Color me impressed. You show him the ID films. He whistles at the portraits. Impressive stuff. He pats you on the shoulder. You should stay until Mina gets home. We can tell her together. Sure. The buzzer goes. That'll be her. Lem gets up and opens the door, and Mina, a bundle of energy and life, rushes into the room. Robot, she shouts. Lem picks her up. Mina, you won't believe what they brought us. You flash her the passes. She looks confused. We're going away after all, Meanie. He lifts her up above her head. On that big, beautiful ship. Mina screams and Lem laughs. He puts Mina down and runs over to you and hugs your legs. I love you, robot, she says quietly so only you can hear. I love you too. And a while later, when you leave, you don't even think to check for Castor by the door until it's too late. You stop and turn halfway down that walkway, but there's nothing there. Even that little white cube is gone. So you keep walking back through the low end, deep in thought, excited and scared all at once. Now, May, we're Moretz. You take those substandard filters back to the shit hills you sold you them. You hear the voice echoing out of the bay as you pass. A moment later, someone who you assume is Moritz drifts out with it. Try to get a pail in a filter scorch as my tether. Hey, you there, the same voice that goes out of the entrance. Looking for work? Who, me? Everyone on the station is looking for work. Get in here. The casing lifts off, revealing the ornate piping of the unit's interior. She whistles at the mess of ducts and filters. By the way, everyone calls me Bliss. She pats you on the shoulder, offering little in the way of an explanation. What do you do here? Repairs, fit-ups, tear-downs. Bliss starts pushing and pulling at the duct work, looking for fractured pipes. You haggle for contracts, but the good ones. Oh, I get snapped up quick by the bag of baddies. So here I am trying to get this M2 unit running again for one of the freelance tugs, small time stuff. Hold this! She rips out a ripped pipe and hands it to you like a freshly caught fish. We turn stuff around fast and neat, and maybe we get a chance at landing something bigger. Something starts hissing in this unit. And Blitzquines, precise whack. I don't care, offer to help. Oh my god, head to the rack. Oh my god, sure. I'd be happy to. Okay. You gonna pay me for work? I got it. Okay, yay. Please let me fucking go. I think it's probably time for me to stop playing this. Alright. Let's go, sleepy time. Like that. That's what I was looking for. I'm out of here. Alright. I've grown tired of this game for a little bit. I don't know when I'll be back. Alright. Ooh.